Hey everybody, thought I'd get on another topic while I'm up here, and that topic is on uh, clairvoyance, remote viewing, or any kind of psychic awareness where you perceive information that you really shouldn't have a physical way of knowing. So this again is a topic that people consider, oh well, that's not science, blah blah blah, and it's not so much that it's not science, it's just not a part of science that we have mastery. Now again and again, and I'll always say this over and over, is that the science we have on earth, we have a great mastery of um, physical science and atomic nature. We understand stuff like that, like what the stuff is, what all this physical matter does, and we have some degree of understanding over. And so biology is way more tricky to study than physics and just physical matter, because it's alive and it's conscious, it has feelings, and it's just a very complex subject. And I think in due time, maybe we'll be able to master understanding of conscious presence and all of its ongoings. And so part of conscious presence is that when you sleep at night, you dream, and then if you go out of body or have a near-death experience, you have a very unusual experience where you in a state of mind where, like, you know everything at one time, but then you come back into this body and you don't know that same stuff anymore. And I've been out of my body, and I've had these kind of dreams or something where I just feel like I'm suspended in this place where just all this information is just pouring down, and it's like I could perceive every millisecond of that information. But then when you wake up, you're like, wow, that was a wild dream, I can't remember a damn thing. Well, the way psychic downloads happen sometimes is you get a bunch of information, boom, and your brain can't physically handle it, so sometimes it takes years and years to sort through the information you get in there, in those downloads. Now I'm going to explain where this can be a scientific it can have a scientific explanation, and I think that more and more people are catching on. Like, we're already figuring out that the universe is connected by some kind of lines of energy that I think they're calling it string theory, and they're kind of assuming that the whole universe works like a neural network. So that's how it works. That's how. So the way we're able to receive information that's remote to us is because all matter is connected by not only the atoms but the ethereal material. So the earth has an aura. It's more on a plasmic level. You have an aura. So all this material, and then information travels on light. So this is how a psychic detective can go into a house and read the walls, because the walls work a little bit like a computer chip. So a lot of things work a little bit like a computer chip. A lot of things work a little bit like a telephone wire. A lot of things work a little bit like radio waves. And if you think about it, when you listen to the radio, you have to pick one channel. If you just turned on the radio and every channel was playing, you wouldn't be able to hear nothing. You wouldn't know what song is what. So that's kind of how your brain and your physical equipment works. It can only pick up on a certain frequency, and if we're able to just like open that up and just take in all the frequencies, you wouldn't be able to process it. So that's kind of why it's so hard to study. It's not something that we can perceive with our monkey eyes and our monkey brain, but every once in a while we get a quick glimpse of it when stuff happens to us. And so not only can you perceive things that are remote to you, like when 9/11 happened, I had a dream that I was connected to the airplane and I was riding on its back tail wing. So I might have been an astral traveler or something, but somehow my perception is being stretched by some kind of line of energy or material that my astral body's made out of, or whatever. My perception was there for a moment, just long enough to hear everybody screaming for their lives and somebody announcing that we're flying right into those buildings. And then the phone rang and I woke up and somebody was telling me what had happened in New York City. Now, the other thing that can happen is you can perceive things from different periods of time. And that's something I've experienced by going into the parallel dimensional timeline, where I've skipped from November 2nd of 99 to January 27th of 2000. So I had a very exciting new millennia And I was one of the people who were laughing at everybody for getting too excited about it. Like, Y2K, blah, blah, blah. These people are nuts. Like, why does everybody think flipping a calendar matters? Well, guess what? My 99 into 2000 was a very strange experience. And then, so I went into the future in the visionary state, and I lived there from the end of January to the beginning of June. And I actually moved out of my apartment too, because I was like freaking out, like everything was like weirding me out. And then I woke up back in my apartment back in November 2nd. And then everything went back to normal. And then when I caught up to January 27th, it was like being hit over the head with deja vu every day. And so that's where I got some valuable experience in understanding how sometimes psychic information is received. That's just one form. There's so many different forms that it comes through, and this is one of them. And again, this is a very popular topic in movies and stories, and the reason these things get into stories is because there's some truth in it, and it provides confirmation for those people out in the world who experience them. You know, even Disney wants to teach us the truth about magic, but the thing is magic isn't unreal. It's just that we have an unreal concept of magic. So in the form of fiction, you know, that magic's not real, but in the form of reality, maybe magic's not a good word for it. It's just that, you know, there are just anomalies in nature that we have yet to grasp. And so to us, you know, something that seems magic to an extraterrestrial, that's just regular technology. It happens all the time, you know, like being able to give somebody a vision. So what I understand, extraterrestrials give you visions. That's how they communicate. So so that way, you know, so thoughts are being transferred through the visionary state. So so we have two things here. You're reading through the material, so you might get psychic information off of the material around us, because it all works like a computer chip. It all works like a telephone wire. But sometimes you get psychic information from other minds, and that other mind could be in another person who's alive in a body. But sometimes those other minds are coming from disembodied people. That's where, you know, people have dreams about their loved ones after they die, and they think that they communicated. And then there could be otherworldly beings, and some of the space travelers, or what we call extraterrestrials, are beings who vibrate on a higher level, and they're more advanced, so they communicate. They communicate through telepathy rather than verbal. Like us communicating verbal is so primitive to them. Like when you evolve, dude, we're not even gonna talk no more. We're gonna keep our we're gonna use telepathy when we evolve. So that's what we're picking up from our alien counterparts. So, and not only that, so it's all fun stuff to talk about, and I try to take this conversation relaxedly and open-mindedly. But psychic awareness is important because it does seem to be to do with evolving, and when we considered the evolved beings who are space travelers coming down, and that's how they communicate, then it tells you that it's not something to be laughed at, and that it's something to be respected and acknowledged. So you do have to start looking at you know, a broader point of view on how conscious presence works, and it's not all in one tight little box. There's a lot of potential and a lot of possibilities for different ways that conscious presence can experience itself and move through reality, move through universe. So I'm always looking forward to what's next in humanity and in civilization, because in due time, I think what we consider psychic awareness will be just a normal rate of a sensitivity. And when you have that type of sensitivity, okay, so imagine if you had no sensitivity in your body, you'd probably destroy everything. You'd be like a bull in a china shop, banging into everything. But when you develop psychic sensitivity, it takes away that same problem. In a roundabout way, we have a lot of problems in our culture where people tend to be abusive towards each other, and they don't really know it. And part of that is because they lack the sensitivity, because if they knew that what they were is hurting somebody, they would probably stop doing it. So that's why we do a lot of stupid things that hurt each other's feelings, because we just really need to expand our awareness. And so when we become more psychically inclined, that's where we're going to knock off doing stuff that hurts each other, because we have so much sensitivity. You see the consequences. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy my conversation. So again, I use my YouTube channel to share my thoughts and my ideas, but you can also keep up with me and stay in touch if you're one of my friends or family living in another part of the country. This is a place you can find me as long as I watch my language and I don't get kicked off of YouTube. And hopefully you'll always be able to find me here no matter where I move. You guys take care. Have a great day.